Good morning. I'm Clark County Commission Chair Jim Gibson, and we want to welcome you and thank you for joining us. This is such an exciting day for Clark County and our 1 October Memorial Committee. The County Commission tasked the committee with a very important and specific duty that was awfully broad for being specific, to develop ideas and recommendations to build a lasting memorial in our community that remembers the events of the tragedy that occurred at the Route 91 Harvest Festival on October 1, 2017. And there is nothing that has captured the attention of this valley ever in the history of the valley, quite like what happened to us then. And the people who have worked to gather together what is needed in order to really fulfill the responsibility we gave them have put so much into it. And we are so grateful to them. Our goal is to have a memorial that pays tribute to the lives lost, that honors the survivors and recognizes the first responders, many bystanders who sprang into action to help, the families and friends of all of these people, and the neighbors, our neighbors, all across this valley that were affected in ways that we'll never forget. And the way that we responded in this tragedy helped the world understand what we knew, which is we are a community. We are a community of neighbors that will do whatever we must and will park and put to the side our differences when pressed. We were pressed, and we did just that. Public engagement has been a critical part of the committee's work over the course of the time they've been working through numerous public meetings, surveys, and focus groups. And what's been terrific is that we've had responses from the public. So often, government or a government committee will put out a survey to which no one or almost no one responds. But in the case of the 1 October committee, those surveys elicited responses, and those responses have been taken to heart. Thanks to the committee's groundwork, we've reached a significant milestone in our effort to build a memorial to remember, and that's the key. Starting today, we can accept ideas for a memorial through a new website application available to the committee's Clark County website pages and through mobile phones. The committee put a tremendous amount of time, thought, and effort into this process to ensure that anyone who has an idea has an opportunity to do that. I will tell you that I talk with people all the time, not every day maybe, but all the time, who have their own views about what a memorial should entail. I have my own views, and I can't wait to see what comes of this effort to hear back from the community and from those who have real experience in doing things like what we're talking about. Ultimately, there will be a selection process, and there will be an opportunity to find the very best we can find so that this memorial is truly is a memorial that will enable a remembrance that is as significant as it needs to be. To tell you more about the participation in the process, we're joined by Tennille Pereira, Chairman of the 1 October Committee and Director of the Vegas Strong Resiliency Center. It is important that she help us understand that over the course of the next 18 months, the process will unfold in 3 phases and result in the committee making a formal recommendation to the County Commission for a memorial project by late summer 2023, just before the 6th anniversary of the incident. I want to acknowledge some others who are here with us today. Caressa Royce, Vice Chair of the committee and a 1 October survivor. We really appreciate all that you bring to the table and all your work. Poonam Mather is the facilitator of the group, and her work has been exactly what we imagined it would be when she was engaged. The Parks and Rec Department and other members of the Clark County staff have been supporters and have been there to make sure that the process continues to unfold with all the resources that are essential in order to make it a success. Before we hear from Tennille, though, and she'll present and she'll be more than happy to fill in gaps if you have questions, I want to introduce a woman who needs no introduction. but my colleague and commissioner and friend, Commissioner Marilyn Kirkpatrick, who is, believe it or not, especially passionate about this particular subject. Not as though she doesn't have passion for other things, which we all know. And Marilyn's work is something, she was the chair when we formed this committee and has been involved in a lot of the detail as we've gone through the process. And we all owe her a vote of thanks for the work she's done to help keep things on track. And believe me, she has no intention of letting up at this point. So Marilyn, come on.
Thank you.
Help us.
Thank you, Chairman Gibson, and really, this is a big project for all of Clark County Commissioners and all of our staff, and it is really a big part of who our community is and who it will continue to be for the long term. So I really don't, I'm excited that people can now submit ideas and get involved in the processes. It's been a long 5 years, and there are folks that live around the country that recognize Nevada as the place to come every year to kind of just remember, and we want to make sure that all of those that were here from Clark County themselves that lived here, that they also get that opportunity. And so early on, we had tons of folks want to submit ideas, and we kept saying, slow down, slow down. We've talked to other places. We don't want to rush it, and we don't want to make any mistakes because there's a lot of passion, emotion, frustration that has to be dealt with through this process. And I'm excited that now we're at that time where we can take ideas and encourage everybody. The smallest idea is going to go a big way, and everybody should have some contributions to it. So Commissioner Gibson has been amazing by attending all the meetings and keeping it going, and it really is important to Clark County. We own this back then, today, and in the future, and we want to do it right. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Tennille.
Good morning. First, I would like to thank Commissioner Gibson and Commissioner Kirkpatrick for all their support. We appreciate their support. We couldn't be here without that, and also appreciate the passion. So thank you. The committee is really excited to have made it to this point in the process. This has been a heavy lift, trying to figure out what works for our community. And we've done a lot of research, and we've reached out to other communities, and we've gathered a lot of information on what worked for them. But we've been able to take that and really tailor it and take the input that we've received from the community thus far to make sure that we have a process that works for us. And so we're really excited to be at this point where we can open up the pathways for further participation from the impacted community. And so what I'd like to do is really take you through the 3 pathways that we've set up for the community to start participating. And the first one I want to talk about is the creative expressions pathway. This really is the biggest, most open pathway for people to participate. And what they can do is any creative expression that they want to submit, they can upload it to us. It's going to be a large database, and if they've opted in to have that viewable by the public, that will be viewable by the public. So people can go on there and see what is coming out of these, kind of out of the impacted community as far as creative expressions. And it can be a picture of a sculpture, it could be a painting, it could be a drawing by a kindergarten class, it could be an actual design of a memorial. Whatever it is that they want to express, they now have that opportunity to submit that. And then they also can submit a letter of intent where they can tell us what it meant to them, what was the feeling that they wanted to evoke through this creative expression. And so we highly encourage everyone that has something that they want to express creatively to do that. And they can do that through an app, or they can go on our website, connect right there. There's several ways that they can do it. We've really worked hard to make it easy for them to do that. We've worked with the libraries and different people so that if there are challenges, please reach out to us. We will make sure that we can overcome those challenges. The second pathway is really for our professional design teams, and that's a call for qualifications. So a request for qualifications, also called an RFQ. I'm starting to learn all this arts world jargon, but this is for our professional teams, and we do require that there's an architect on the team that is licensed in Nevada, but other than that, the teams are pretty open, incorporating different professionals on that team and then submitting an application. With that process, they're going to submit the RFQs. They will be kind of whittled down to 5 finalists, and those 5 finalists will give us a final design proposal. So an actual design that the public can then go and look at, and will provide an avenue at that point to submit the input from the community. So if there's one in there, wow, this one just really stands out to me or speaks to me, they can express that to the committee. We will receive all of that input and then be able to make that final recommendation to the Clark County Board of County Commissioners. And so there's going to be some exciting things coming out where people can go and look and see the ideas. Also, those final design teams, I think it's really important to note here because it is customary in the arts community to pay for those final proposals. So there will be a $50,000 stipend paid to those finalist teams, up to 5 teams. So we want to encourage participation from our professionals so that we end up with a world-class memorial. The third pathway is a call for evaluators. Essentially, this is going to be our jury that kind of goes over the request for qualification applications. And what we've done is we've kind of modeled that jury after the committee itself, and adding some extra kind of professional input on that. So there will be a bereaved family member, there will be a survivor, there will be professionals, so engineers, architects, professional artists, as well as a real property management professional from Clark County on that jury. And there's also some additional opportunities to serve there because we will have alternates. So if that's something that, that you'd be interested in, we encourage you to, again, go online and to apply for that. There is one big thing that I would also like to mention is that this is a lot of information and it's a lot to digest in 5 minutes. We've been able to digest this over several, 7-8 months we've been working on this process. So we are going to have a couple information sessions, and those are going to be on Thursday, July 7th at 10 a.m., and the other one will be in the afternoon at 4 p.m. on July 11th. If anyone has questions, we encourage you to come. It's likely someone else has that same question, and we want to know what those questions are because this is kind of an innovative process that's very unique, and we want to make sure that those pathways of communication with the impacted community are open. So we also encourage you to go on our website. There's a toolkit, flyers and PSAs, all these amazing materials that have been prepared that you can share on social media, you can send out via email. Let's get the impacted community involved here so that this truly is a healing process. Thank you.